Next topic we are going to see in second module, that is in thyristors, is the characteristic of a thyristor. In order to understand the characteristics of the thyristor, first we have to understand the circuit diagram. Next I am going to explain the VI characteristics, that is the voltage and the current characteristics of the thyristors. So we know that as a thyristor it is a 4-layer diagram. So first I am going to draw the 4-layer diagram. So we know that the 4 layers are P, N, next is P, and then N. So it is having a 3 junctions, that is J1, J2 and J3. So junction J1 it is between P and N, J2 it is in between N and P, and J3 is in between P and N. So the terminals are anode, next you have a cathode here. So these are the terminals. The third terminal that is present is the gate terminal, that we are going to add it to the P type. So now the corresponding resistances are added here. So the corresponding resistance I can put here as R1. Next the corresponding resistance I can put here as R2. So this is going to be my R1 and this is going to be my R2. So we have to apply the supply here in order to start working the thyristor. In order to make a thyristor to work, we need to apply the biasing. So this is an anode and the cathode terminal. Usually we are going to apply either a positive to negative to an anode to cathode, or a negative to positive to an anode to cathode. So initially we are going to apply a positive terminal to an anode and a negative terminal to the cathode. So what I have done, I have applied the forward biasing to my thyristor or an SCR. So when I apply the forward biasing to an SCR, so anode will be connected to the positive terminal and the cathode will be connected to the negative terminal. So only this is not sufficient in order to trigger the SCR. So initially what we are doing is, an anode voltage is made positive. An anode voltage here, it is made positive with respect to the cathode. So when we do like this, what happens to our junction? So we have a junction J1, J2 and J3 here, correct? So the junction J1 and J3, it is going to become forward biased, whereas the junction J2, it is going to become reverse biased. So how this is done? So junction J1, it is in between P and an N layer. So P, it is connected to the positive, and assume that N is connected to the negative here. So J1, it is going to be forward biased. Whereas J2 here, it is in between N and a P type. So N is connected to the positive and P is connected to the negative. J2 will become reverse biased. Whereas J3, it is connected in between, it is a junction in between P and an N layer. So P is connected to positive and N is connected to negative. So J3, it is going to become forward biased. So when we apply this kind of a biasing, that is a forward biasing, that is anode is positive with respect to the cathode, my junction J1 and J3, it is going to become forward biased, whereas my junction J2, it is going to become reverse biased. So when this is happening, there is a small amount of leakage current that is going to flow in an thyristor. So the small amount of a leakage current, it is mainly because of the forward current. And this leakage current, it is called as a forward leakage current. But the SCR, it is not said to be in an on state. Still I say that my SCR, it is in an off state. Why? Because I have not applied a biasing to the gate terminal. So gate terminal, it is not applied. As I told earlier, when you apply a gate biasing with respect to the cathode, then only the SCR, it is going to be triggered. So SCR, it is a controlled switch. So when you apply a gate biasing or a gate pulse, then only an SCR, it is going to turn on, or an SCR, it is going to be triggered. But once the SCR is triggered, even though you remove the gate terminal, or if you apply with a negative pulse to a gate terminal, the gate has no control of the operation. So understand, a thyristor, it has a 3 terminals, anode, cathode and the gate terminal. The third terminal, that is a gate terminal, it is going to perform the control switching action. Now once you trigger an SCR or a thyristor by applying a positive pulse to the gate terminal, the gate has a no control over the switching off of the thyristor or the SCR. So now what happens, initially we have applied a positive to an anode and a negative to the cathode, and this has made junction J1 and J3 to be forward and J2 to be reverse biased. So there is a small amount of leakage current that is going to flow here, and that is called as a forward leakage current. And the thyristor, it is not said to be in an on state, and it is said to be in a blocking state. So to draw the characteristic curve, we are going to draw a VI characteristic curve. So it is an VAK. VAK, it is an anode to cathode voltage with respect to an current, that is an anode to cathode current. So what happens initially is, when you apply an anode to cathode voltage and you have not applied a gate pulse, so there is a small amount of leakage that is flowing, but an SCR is not turned on. An SCR is not turned on. So, and this mode of operation of an SCR, it is called as a blocking mode or forward blocking mode. So this mode of operation, it is called as forward blocking mode. So now when you apply a gate pulse, then the SCR, it is going to be triggered. So we are going to apply the gate pulse in between the gate and the cathode, and it is called, and the SCR, it is turned on, and it is going to enter into an conduction mode. So it is going to enter into an conduction mode. So now I have to apply the biasing here. So gate is made positive with respect to the cathode. So gate is made positive with respect to the cathode, and it is called as VGK. So VGK, it is nothing but what? It is a gate to cathode voltage, and this is called as a VAK. It is nothing but anode to cathode voltage. So now the gate has triggered an SCR, means an SCR is on. When you start increasing this gate voltage, then the junction J2, which was in a reverse bias, that is going to break. See, understand, the junction J1 and J3 are in forward. We know that in a forward bias condition, the charges are going to flow here. But in between what we have, it is in a reverse bias. When it is in a reverse bias, then the depletion region, it is going to be more. So there is no flow of a current. But once you apply the gate voltage and once you apply the gate pulses, the junction J2, it is going to break down, and at certain voltage, that is called, this point, it is called as VBO, that is known as a forward breakover voltage. The junction J2, it is going to break down, and there is an turning on of an SCR or your thyristor. And this second mode, it is known as a switching mode. And then this is called as the conduction mode. So the third mode, it is the conduction mode. So switching mode, it is a time taken by an SCR to change from blocking state to the conduction state. So this is known as this part, it is known as a conduction state, whereas this part, it is known as a switching state, and this part, it is called as an blocking mode, that is a forward blocking mode. So this is about the forward characteristics or the forward VI characteristics. when you apply anode as positive and cathode as negative. Now what happens if we apply reverse biasing? That is, anode is applied negative and cathode is applied positive. Let's see that explanation. So these are the three modes what I explained now, that is forward blocking mode, forward switching mode and forward conduction mode. Now I am going to explain about, so as I already told, the gate has no control once the SCR is triggered. So SCR is already triggered, and the gate, even though you remove the gate or when you apply the negative pulse to the gate, the SCR is not going to turn off, because here in an SCR the gate is utilized only to turn on an SCR, but to turn off an SCR we have a different methods that we are going to see it in the next videos. So now when I apply the reverse biasing, so how the circuit it is going to be. So I have to write the layer diagram here again. So I'll just write here P, N, P and N, that is 4 layers. Now I have to apply, I have a resistor here, that is an anode terminal. So the resistor is R1. Next, to a gate terminal I have one more resistor, that is an R2. Now I have to apply an anode as a negative voltage with respect to the cathode. So this is my VAK. So when anode is, now first let me explain this point. So when anode is applied negative with respect to the cathode, so what happens? So what about our junction? So that is my junction J1, J2 and J3. Now J1 it is between P and an N layer. Now P it is connected to negative and N it is connected to positive. So junction J1 it is going to be reverse biased. Now junction J2 it is in between N and P. So N is connected to negative and P is connected to positive. So junction J2 it is going to become forward biased. Now J3 it is in between P and an N layer. P is connected to negative and N is connected to positive. So junction J3 it is going to become reverse biased. So here J1 is reverse, J3 is reverse. There is a small amount of leakage current that is flowing across the anode and the cathode, and SCR it is said to be in an off state, or you can say that it is said to be in an reverse blocking mode. A small amount of a leakage current that flows between the anode and the cathode, and it is called as a reverse leakage current, and this mode of operation it is called as an reverse blocking mode. Now, does gate have a control? Now, do I need to apply the gate biasing? No. Once the SCR is turned on, as I told earlier, the gate has a no control. Even though you apply the positive pulse, even though you apply the negative pulse, even though you remove the gate terminal, the gate has a no control of it. Now, how the characteristic curve is going to look? So, we'll see the characteristic curve. So, as I told, when you apply the reverse biasing to an SCR, so first there is a small amount of leakage current that is going to flow, and this mode of operation it is called as reverse blocking. It is called as reverse blocking. So now at certain point the junction, so when you increase the biasing, so when we keep on increasing this biasing, so when we keep on increasing this anode to cathode voltage, then at one particular point the junction J2, which is in between J1 and J3, it is going to break down, and then a large amount of current it is going to flow, and that is called as an reverse breakover voltage. So at this particular point we have VBR, where VBR it is a reverse breakover voltage, VBO it is a forward breakover voltage. So now this is a reverse conduction mode. This is a reverse conduction mode. and we need to avoid this so that we save our SCR from getting damaged. So this is about the characteristic curve of an SCR. So where we have a forward conduction mode, next we have first we have a forward blocking mode, next we have a switching mode, next we have a forward conduction mode. When we apply the reverse biasing, that is when anode is made negative with respect to the cathode, then at this point we are going to get two modes, that is forward blocking mode and reverse blocking mode and reverse conduction mode. And we have an forward breakover voltage and reverse breakover voltage. So in the next video we are going to see about the latching current, holding current and breakover voltage in our characteristic curve. So in the same characteristic curve I am going to show what is meant by latching current, what is meant by holding current and what is meant by breakover voltage.